There's a secret about time that most people never understand. It's not that successful people have more of it. It's that they use it differently. Every one of us wakes up with the same 24 hours. Yet some people build companies, write books, transform industries, and change lives, while others feel like they're drowning in tasks before the day even begins. The truth is simple. Time doesn't make you successful. Your relationship with time does. And today, I want to show you the exact mindset, the exact behaviors, and the exact habits that successful people use to master their time, so you can stop feeling overwhelmed, stop feeling behind, and start living your life with intentionality, clarity, and purpose. Stay with me until the end, because I promise you this: if you understand what I'm about to share, you won't just manage time differently, you'll manage your life differently. Most people wake up, look at their phones, glance at the messages they missed, and immediately jump into the long list of tasks they have to do. They start their day with stress, with urgency, with pressure, but not with purpose. And this is exactly where successful people separate themselves from the crowd. They don't begin their day with what they need to do. They begin with why. Because when you understand your why, every minute of your life becomes intentional, every task becomes meaningful, every action becomes connected to a vision far bigger than the moment you are in. When successful people wake up, they aren't guided by notifications, obligations, or noise. They are guided by purpose. A purpose that acts like a compass, quietly and consistently pointing them toward the life they are trying to build. Their day doesn't control them. They control their day. Your why is the emotional engine behind your behavior. It is the deeper reason beneath the surface level goals. For example, you don't wake up to go to work. That's the what. You wake up because you want to build a life where your family is financially secure, where you contribute something meaningful, or where you can prove to yourself that you are capable of more. That's your why. Successful people know this: a strong why creates discipline. A weak why creates excuses. Your why is the anchor that stops you from drifting into distraction. It is the reason you stay focused when your phone rings, when your mind wanders, or when your motivation fades. Think of time like currency. Most people spend it randomly. A few minutes here, a few hours there, and before they know it, the day is gone. But successful people invest their time. And no one invests without understanding the purpose behind the investment. You don't put money into an opportunity you don't believe in. So why would you put your time into tasks that don't move your life forward? When you start with why, your entire relationship with time changes. Suddenly, the meeting you are about to attend isn't just a meeting. It becomes an opportunity to grow, to influence, to contribute. Your workout isn't just exercise. It becomes a promise to your future self, a commitment to health, energy, and discipline. Every decision transforms from an obligation into a building block. Successful people look at their schedule as a strategy, not a checklist. A strategy has direction. A checklist has pressure. A strategy moves you closer to your vision. A checklist simply reminds you of what you haven't done yet. The difference is emotional. When you live without purpose, time feels heavy. You are always running, always chasing, always behind. But when you live with purpose, time becomes powerful. You start to prioritize instead of react. You filter instead of follow. You choose instead of accept. Purpose gives you clarity. Clarity gives you courage. Courage gives you momentum. This is why successful people don't ask, "What should I do today?" They ask, "Why does this matter today?" Because here is the truth: you cannot manage your time until you learn how to manage your purpose. Imagine two people reading the same book. One reads because they should. The other reads because they want to understand leadership so they can improve their team, elevate their career, and serve at a higher level. Same book, same time spent. Different outcome? Why? Because purpose turns information into transformation. Successful people know that time is not measured in hours. It is measured in impact, and impact comes from purpose. When you wake up without purpose, the world decides for you. The world tells you what is urgent. The world tells you what matters. The world tells you what to react to. But when you start with why, you decide what is worth your energy. You decide what is worth your attention. You decide what deserves your time. So many people waste years chasing goals they don't even care about. They pursue careers that impress others, not paths that fulfill themselves. They say yes to things that don't align with their values, and then wonder why they feel exhausted, uninspired, or lost. But successful people make every choice from the inside out, not the outside in. Your why is not something you discover once and forget. It is something you revisit every day, because purpose isn't found, it is built. It is built through reflection. It is built through intention. It is built through honest conversations with yourself. Ask yourself, why does this matter? Why am I choosing this? Why is this worth my time? Why does this align with the life I want to create? When your why becomes clear, your distractions begin to disappear, your excuses begin to shrink, your energy begins to rise, your direction becomes unmistakable. Successful people achieve more not because they have more time, but because their time has meaning. Purpose gives them the ability to say no without guilt, yes without fear, and stop without confusion. Starting with why is not about inspiration. It's about alignment. It's about making sure your daily actions match your long-term vision. A life without purpose feels chaotic. A life with purpose feels connected. A chaotic life drains you. A connected life fuels you. So if you want to manage your time like successful people, don't start by buying planners, setting alarms, organizing calendars, or downloading productivity apps. Start by asking the question successful people ask every single morning: why does my time matter today? Because once your why is strong, the how becomes easier and the what becomes meaningful. Purpose turns time into power. And that is the real secret behind how successful people manage their time. Successful people don't wake up and immediately dive into emails, notifications, or the endless scroll of social media. They don't allow the demands of the world to dictate the first moments of their day. Instead, they guard their mornings with the same vigilance a general defends a fortress, because they understand that how they begin the day determines how the rest of it unfolds. The morning is not just a part of the day. It is the foundation upon which the rest of their success is built. The concept of protecting your morning is not about creating a rigid routine for the sake of routine. It's about intentionally shaping the environment in which your mind, body, and spirit begin their work. It's about choosing to create your world before the chaos of external demands can intrude. Most people let the world in first. They wake up, check their phones, react to the news, reply to messages, and before they know it, the day has already taken control of them. By contrast, successful people understand that the moment after you wake up is sacred. It is the first hour of the day, often called the golden hour. When your focus is sharpest, your willpower is strongest, and your mind is most receptive to clarity and intentional thought. Mornings are where clarity is born. This is the time when you have the opportunity to think without interruption, to reflect without distraction, and to plan without pressure. A morning well spent is an investment that compounds throughout the day. When successful people protect their mornings, they create a space where they can connect with their purpose, set their intentions, and prime themselves for high performance. This is the time when they decide how they will respond to challenges rather than react to them. They are not passive participants in their day. They are active architects of it. The fortress of the morning is built with routines and rituals that serve the mind, body, and spirit. Exercise, meditation, journaling, reading, planning. These are not random acts of productivity. They are intentional habits that prepare the individual to face the day with energy, focus, and resilience. Each element of the morning routine is chosen to protect the mental clarity and emotional balance that are easily destroyed by the chaos of the outside world. By investing time in themselves before the demands of others arrive, successful people ensure they are operating from a position of strength rather than exhaustion. Reflection is a critical part of this process. Successful people use the morning to look inward, to assess where they are and where they are going. They ask themselves important questions. What is my focus today? What am I grateful for? How can I contribute value? How will I make progress toward my long-term goals? These reflective practices are not merely introspective exercises. They are strategic actions that align daily activities with overarching life goals. By creating the space for reflection, they avoid being reactive, impulsive, or distracted. Planning is another cornerstone of a protected morning. Successful people don't let their schedules manage them. They manage their schedules. They review priorities, set clear intentions, and organize their day to maximize impact. Planning is not about cramming more tasks into a limited amount of time. It is about clarity, focus, and alignment. It is about asking what is most important today? What requires my attention? What can wait or be delegated? By answering these questions in the morning, they prevent the day from slipping away in trivialities, interruptions, and endless urgencies that do not contribute to meaningful outcomes. Thinking strategically is also a hallmark of protected mornings. This is the time to solve problems, anticipate challenges, and consider opportunities. It is the quiet before the storm, the moment to make decisions before external pressures cloud judgment. Successful people understand that the mind is most alert in the morning. This is when creativity flows, insights are gained, and solutions are discovered. By protecting this window of mental clarity, they maximize their problem-solving potential and make decisions with confidence rather than haste. The result of winning the morning is profound. When the first hours are dedicated to reflection, planning, and strategic thought, the rest of the day follows naturally. There is a rhythm, a flow, and a sense of control. Challenges are met with composure. Opportunities are seized with decisiveness. Energy is managed wisely, and focus is maintained throughout the day. Successful people experience a cumulative effect. One morning of intentional action creates momentum for the hours that follow. A week of protected mornings compounds into a month of progress, which ultimately shapes a lifetime of achievement. Protecting your morning also sends a powerful signal to yourself and the world your time is valuable. You are choosing to invest in your own growth before you invest in the demands of others. This habit strengthens discipline, builds self-respect, and reinforces the belief that your priorities matter. By creating a sanctuary of time at the start of each day, successful people cultivate the mindset that they are in charge of their lives. They don't wait for permission, they don't rely on circumstances, and they don't react to every distraction. Instead, they lead with intention, and the day bends to the framework they have established. It is important to note that protecting the morning is not about rigidity or perfection. It's about boundaries, consistency, and prioritization. The goal is not to perform an endless list of tasks flawlessly. It is to create a mental, emotional, and physical state that sets you up for success. Even small, consistent actions taken each morning, a few minutes of reflection, a brief walk, a short journaling session, can create exponential benefits over time. The fortress does not need to be impenetrable, it needs to be intentional. The challenge is that the world constantly tests this fortress. Notifications, Emails, urgent requests, and social media are designed to grab attention immediately. Most people surrender their mornings to these external forces without resistance. Successful people, however, have learned the art of defense. They establish clear boundaries: no phone until a certain time, no distractions during meditation or exercise, no interruptions until the morning routine is complete. These boundaries are not limitations. They are the walls that protect the energy, clarity, and focus necessary to execute at a high level. Ultimately, protecting the morning is about winning the first battle of the day. The way you start determines how you feel, how you think, and how you perform. It is the difference between a reactive, chaotic day and a proactive, purposeful one. Successful people understand that mornings are precious, finite, and transformative. They treat them with respect, invest in them intentionally, and guard them fiercely. When you protect your morning, you are telling yourself and the world, I am in control. I choose clarity over confusion. I choose intention over reaction. I choose to start the day strong so that I can finish it stronger. Because when you win the morning, the day does not just pass. It unfolds in alignment with your purpose, your goals, and your vision. And that is the real power of protecting your mornings like a fortress. Time management is one of the most misunderstood concepts in the modern world. Many people assume that being productive means doing more, checking more boxes, and squeezing more tasks into every minute of the day. But successful people understand something crucial. Time management is not about doing everything, it's about doing what truly matters. The key is not activity, but impact. It is not business, but focus. And the difference between the two is what separates the highly successful from the perpetually overwhelmed. Most people live in what could be called the tyranny of the trivial. Their days are filled with tasks that feel urgent but are ultimately inconsequential. Emails, meetings without purpose, social obligations, notifications, and endless small chores dominate their attention, leaving little room for the actions that actually move the needle in their lives. These people are busy, but they are not productive. They confuse motion with progress. They mistake noise for action. And as a result, at the end of the day, they feel exhausted but unfulfilled. Successful people, by contrast, are ruthless about their priorities. They understand that time is finite, energy is limited, and focus is precious. They do not try to fit everything into the day. They do not attempt to respond to every request, answer every email immediately, or attend every meeting that comes their way. They recognize that saying yes to everything is a guarantee of mediocrity. Instead, they make deliberate choices about where to invest their attention. They filter out the unnecessary so the necessary can rise. This is the essence of strategic prioritization. It begins with clarity of purpose. Successful people know what their goals are, what their mission is, and what will truly make a difference in the long run. Every task, every decision, every commitment is measured against this internal yardstick. Does this matter? Does this move me closer to my purpose or my goal? If the answer is no, it doesn't make the cut. It is not a matter of laziness or avoidance. It is a matter of discipline, focus, and respect for one's own time. Ruthless prioritization requires courage. It requires the courage to say no to things that may be pleasant, socially expected, or superficially important. It means understanding that time spent on the trivial is time stolen from the monumental. It also requires the ability to delay gratification and make decisions based on long-term value rather than short-term satisfaction. Successful people understand that every minute is an opportunity cost, every distraction has a price, and every yes to something unimportant is a no to something that actually matters. To prioritize effectively, successful people often use what can be called the essentialist approach. They focus on a few high-leverage activities rather than a long list of low-impact tasks. These are the actions that yield the most significant results in their personal, professional, and creative lives. By concentrating their energy on these critical tasks, they maximize their output without spreading themselves too thin. It is not about doing more, it is about doing better. It is not about quantity, it is about quality. Filtering out the unnecessary is both a mindset and a practice. It begins with evaluation, taking inventory of your commitments, habits, and daily activities, and asking yourself which ones are truly aligned with your goals. Next comes elimination, removing, or delegating tasks that do not provide meaningful value. Finally, it requires protection, setting boundaries to ensure that the important work is not hijacked by the trivial. This process is continuous, not one time. Priorities shift as goals evolve, so the filter must be regularly refined to maintain focus. Successful people also understand the power of saying no. Saying no is often uncomfortable, particularly in a world that rewards business and immediate responsiveness. But each no is a powerful tool for protecting the most valuable resource you have, your attention. Saying no allows you to say yes to what truly matters, creating space for creativity, deep work, and meaningful impact. It is the ultimate act of self-respect because it communicates that your time is not disposable and that you are committed to your highest priorities. Another critical aspect of prioritization is the avoidance of multitasking. Successful people understand that the brain is not designed to handle multiple high-focused tasks simultaneously. Attempting to do so dilutes attention, reduces effectiveness, and increases mental fatigue. Instead, they focus on one essential task at a time, the one that will have the greatest impact, and give it their full attention. By doing so, they achieve superior results in less time and with less stress. Technology, while helpful, can also be a trap if priorities are not clear. Notifications, emails, social media, and instant messaging are designed to capture attention and create a sense of urgency. Without deliberate prioritization, these distractions can dominate the day. Successful people use technology strategically. They set limits, turn off notifications, and create focused periods where only essential work is addressed. They let tools serve them, rather than allowing tools to dictate their day. Prioritization is also about aligning actions with values. Tasks that are technically important but misaligned with core values or long-term goals are filtered out. For example, spending hours on tasks that generate income but compromise integrity, creativity, or personal health is avoided. Successful people evaluate their choices not only on productivity but on alignment with what truly matters to them. This ensures that their energy is spent in ways that are both impactful and fulfilling. Ultimately, prioritization is not a skill, it is a mindset. It is the constant practice of distinguishing between what is urgent and what is important, between what is trivial and what is transformative. It is the discipline to protect the hours and minutes that are most likely to move you toward meaningful achievement. It is understanding that doing less with more focus yields far greater results than doing more with scattered attention. The beauty of prioritization is that it creates leverage. When you concentrate on what matters, you create momentum. Small, consistent actions on critical priorities compound over time into extraordinary outcomes. One focused morning, one deliberate week, or one strategic month can transform an entire year. Prioritization is not about working harder. It is about working smarter with intention, clarity, and purpose. Successful people don't prioritize everything because not everything deserves their energy. They recognize that time is a currency that cannot be replenished. Every task, every commitment, every decision is an investment. And like any smart investor, they choose only those investments that yield the highest return in progress, impact, growth, and fulfillment. To adopt this mindset yourself, begin by clarifying your core objectives. Identify the actions that will bring you closer to the objectives and ruthlessly eliminate or delegate the rest. Guard your attention, focus on the few things that truly matter, and resist the temptation to fill your day with busy work. Remember, prioritization is not about perfection, but about alignment. It is not about doing everything, but about doing the right things. In conclusion, the art of prioritization is the secret weapon of successful people. They don't chase every opportunity, answer every request, or attend every event. They choose what deserves their attention and energy. They filter out the unnecessary so the necessary can rise. By focusing on what truly matters, they achieve more, stress less, and create a life of impact and purpose. Time is finite and attention is limited, but when you prioritize wisely, you harness both for extraordinary results. Most people approach time management as if life is a list of tasks to be completed. They schedule meetings, appointments, errands, and chores. Their calendars are filled with obligations, deadlines, and the constant pressure to respond to everyone else's demands. In this approach, life becomes a reactive series of actions dictated by what is urgent rather than what is important. Successful people, however, approach scheduling differently. They do not simply fill their calendars with tasks. They schedule their values. They ensure that the things that truly matter in life have dedicated, protected time. To schedule values means to recognize that your most important priorities, family, health, learning, rest, and reflection, are not guaranteed by default. In the chaos of modern life, if you do not explicitly make time for what matters, those things often never happen. Left to chance, life becomes a series of compromises where urgent but trivial tasks crowd out what is truly meaningful. Successful people understand this principle deeply. They treat their values as non-negotiable appointments with themselves, and they place these appointments at the top of their calendars. Family time is a prime example. Many people intend to spend time with loved ones, but if it is not scheduled, work, errands, and social obligations often intrude. Successful people protect family time by putting it on the calendar and treating it as an essential commitment. They do not allow meetings, phone calls, or distractions to erode this time. They understand that relationships are a cornerstone of a fulfilling life, and by deliberately scheduling them, they ensure these relationships are nourished consistently. Scheduling family time transforms intention into action. It guarantees presence and prevents regrets. Learning and personal growth are another area where values are scheduled. Successful people dedicate time to read, study, and expand their knowledge. They recognize that continuous growth is essential to long-term success, and they prioritize learning even when the day feels busy. By putting these activities on the calendar, they ensure that intellectual development is not sacrificed for short-term tasks. Learning time may include reading books, listening to podcasts, attending courses, or reflecting on lessons learned. Regardless of the form, it is scheduled intentionally, not left to the unpredictable flow of free time. Rest and recovery are scheduled as well. Successful people understand that energy, focus, and creativity are finite resources. Without rest, performance diminishes, decision-making suffers, and stress accumulates. Yet most people neglect rest, viewing it as optional or indulgent. Successful people view rest as essential. They schedule sleep, breaks, downtime, and even periods of solitude to recharge. By treating rest as a deliberate priority, they sustain high performance and avoid burnout. Scheduling rest is not laziness, it is strategy. It is a commitment to maintaining the mental, emotional, and physical energy required to achieve meaningful results. Thinking time is another value that is scheduled. In the rush of daily life, it is easy to operate on autopilot, reacting to situations as they arise without taking the time to reflect or plan. Successful people carve out moments specifically for thinking, planning, and strategizing. These periods allow them to step back, evaluate progress, solve problems creatively, and make intentional decisions. Thinking time is a space for clarity and insight. By scheduling it, they prevent reactive habits from dominating their lives and ensure they are leading their day rather than being led by it. Scheduling values also requires intentionality and courage. It is easy to fall into the trap of committing to tasks that others expect or that seem urgent. Successful people understand that boundaries are essential. They are selective about what they allow to occupy their time, recognizing that every task scheduled in the calendar is a task that displaces something else. When values are deliberately scheduled, everything else must be filtered through the lens of importance. Urgent requests are evaluated, distractions are minimized, and time-wasting activities are eliminated. This approach transforms the way life is experienced. When values are scheduled, days are structured around what truly matters rather than what is pressing. The calendar becomes a tool for intentional living instead of a record of obligations. By proactively placing meaningful activities into the schedule, successful people create a rhythm that aligns with their principles and vision. They live life on purpose rather than simply reacting to the demands of the world. The practice of scheduling values also reinforces commitment and accountability. By placing meaningful activities on the calendar, successful people create a visible reminder of what they care about. This transforms abstract intentions into concrete actions. It becomes harder to ignore or postpone what matters when it occupies a clearly defined space in your day. Over time, this habit strengthens discipline, builds consistency, and ensures that values are consistently honored, not neglected. It is important to note that scheduling values is not about rigid routines that remove flexibility or spontaneity. Life is unpredictable and adaptability is necessary. However, when the core priorities, values, are scheduled, flexibility becomes more productive. Success is not in rigidly sticking to a plan, but in ensuring that the foundation of your day, the actions aligned with your values, remains intact even as other tasks shift. This approach provides balance as structure to protect the meaningful and flexibility to navigate the unpredictable. In essence, scheduling values transforms time management into life management. Most people manage tasks. Successful people manage what is truly important to them. Their calendars reflect their deepest priorities, not the demands of the moment. Each scheduled value, whether it is family, learning, rest, or reflection, acts as a compass, guiding decisions, energy, and focus throughout the day. It ensures that life does not pass by in a blur of business, but is actively directed toward what matters most. When values are scheduled consistently, the benefits compound. Relationships strengthen, skills grow, health improves, and clarity increases. Life begins to feel intentional rather than accidental. The day becomes a series of meaningful actions rather than a reactive scramble. Scheduling values is a daily practice of prioritizing impact over activity, alignment over distraction, and purpose over chaos. Ultimately, the secret is simple but profound. Successful people do not leave what matters to chance. They put it on the calendar. By protecting time for family, learning, rest, and thinking, they ensure that their actions reflect their principles. Their days are guided not by urgency, but by intention, not by obligation, but by choice. They understand that a calendar filled with tasks may keep life moving, but a calendar filled with values keeps life meaningful. By scheduling values, they create a life that is aligned, intentional, and fulfilling. They turn time into a reflection of what they truly care about, and in doing so, they do more than manage their day. They live it with purpose, clarity, and impact. Successful people have a unique approach to opportunity, requests, and obligations. They say no far more often than they say yes. At first glance, this might seem counterintuitive or even harsh. In a world that praises helpfulness, responsiveness, and willingness, saying no can feel uncomfortable, risky, or socially unacceptable. But successful people understand a fundamental truth that most people ignore. Every yes comes with a cost. Not just a cost in time, but in energy, attention, focus, and even personal alignment. Saying yes indiscriminately is the fastest way to dilute your potential, scatter your resources, and compromise the life you are trying to build. The decision to say no is not rooted in selfishness. It is rooted in clarity, discipline, and self-respect. Successful people are not avoiding responsibility or opportunities. They are protecting the finite and most valuable resource they possess, their attention. Time and energy are limited. You cannot stretch them, you cannot create more of them, and once they are spent, they are gone forever. Saying yes to one thing inevitably means saying no to something else, often something more important. Recognizing this, successful people adopt a principle of careful, deliberate evaluation before committing to any task, request, or opportunity. Their default response is not yes, it is a question: is this aligned with who I want to become? This simple but powerful question acts as a filter for decisions. Every request or opportunity is measured against it. Does this action advance my long-term goals? Does it reflect my priorities and values? Does it move me closer to the person I want to be? If the answer is no, they walk away, politely, firmly, and without guilt. This approach transforms decision-making from a reactive habit into a deliberate, strategic practice. Saying no is a form of leverage. Each no protects the yes that truly matters. For instance, saying no to an unessential meeting frees time for deep work that has a measurable impact. Saying no to a social engagement allows for rest, family time, or personal growth. Saying no to distractions preserves focus and mental energy for high-priority projects. In other words, saying no is not about missing out. It is about creating space to invest in what will yield the greatest return.